Morning. Today is the 25th of July, it's Saturday, and it is time for the newspaper review. It's the Brisbane Courier Mail Saturday newspaper. Headline is NRL Rich 100 and some COVID stuff. Bit of Johnny Depp, Love and War, and yeah, let's get into it. So page 6 here of the Saturday Courier Mail, it's a bit of a advertisement for travelling in Queensland, Australia, and the headline says, "How far will you go? The People's Long Weekend." It's advertising for the People's Long Weekend, Friday the 14th to 16th of August. But look at this, it's got a picture of a whale. There's no pictures of people there. They're advertising the People's Weekend. Like if you were advertising a dog's weekend and you had a picture of a leopard or a crocodile, it wouldn't really make any sense, would it? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just don't understand marketing. Article here on page 7 says, it's about the COVID, and it says, "We must grow our way out of debt." It's from some economists in the Queensland government talking about $100 billion in debt, how we got to grow our way out of it with the economy. Like, when has that ever worked? When has getting more stuff ever got rid of debt? Debt? I'm Irish, I can't say TH properly. Death. When has getting more shit ever decreased debt? Never. Like, the more stuff you get, the more fucking loans and stuff we're going to get. Like, I think I should be an economist. So there's an article here on page 25, and don't get me wrong, he looks like an awesome bloke. I'm sure he's a really, really nice guy. Alejandro, he's opened a place, he's launching the world's first carbon neutral vegan beef. It's not beef. It's vegan, it's not beef. So, former fine dining chef, owner of Fen Foods, don't get me wrong, it's probably lovely, I'd love to go there actually, but it produces the usually popular vegan beef substitute, Veef. And so, here's the thing, right? Firstly, it's not a burger, it's a sandwich. It's got bread and it's got vegetables inside it. It's a vegetable sandwich, it's not a burger. Like, if you were to start a handyman company and you had dark-skinned people working for the handyman company and your advertisement was, "Just like slaves, they'll do all your work, but not quite slaves." You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what people are doing here. Like, it's like, oh, I want to eat dead animals, but I don't want to be a bad cunt. So let's just like pretend it's a dead animal, and then we'll wrap it up in vegetables and bread, and we'll eat it, and we'll kind of like we get that little feeling like we're eating a dead animal, but we're actually not hurting anyone. Same thing if you had a handyman company with dark-skinned people, and like you give them some money to do jobs, and then you kind of like secretly fantasize that you've got a slave. You don't have a slave, you've got a handyman. Same as here, you don't have a burger, you have a vegetable sandwich. So, you know what I mean? Just get over it. You either eat beef or you don't eat beef. There's no fucking beef. Fuck off with your beef. So there's a bit of a rich list in the Courier Mail today with the NRL footy players. And like a lot of people always like whinge about like sports people and celebrities and different people getting paid too much. Well, the way I see it is like they've dedicated their whole life to one thing and they're getting rewarded for it. And they're the best at what they do. Like, what are we the best at? What are you the best at doing? Like, so this guy here, I'm just going to pick a random one because I don't even really follow the footy. Blake Green, number 54, gets paid $675,000 a year. You know what? Good on him. He's focused his whole life on running around with a ball and training for that. Like, I've never focused on one thing for more than a year. Like, when I was a kid, I'd do horse riding for a year, then I'd do skateboarding, and then I'd see some ad and telly about bloody Lego, and I'd be obsessed with Lego for a week. And then I'd be into bloody rollerblading for another 6 months. Like, I reckon they deserve every cent they get for focusing on that one thing for so long. And then all of a sudden they might break their leg and they're done anyway. So I reckon give them everything they deserve. And often the people that are complaining about it are the ones that are sitting in front of the telly with the beer in their hand watching it, shouting, telling them they're fucking shit players anyway. So good on them. I reckon they should get every fucking cent. I reckon they should get even more. the other thing about like famous people getting lots of money, and you know, then when they fuck up and they're on telly and maybe they've, you know, got drunk and made a dickhead out of themselves, and then everyone destroys them on social media. But you know what, like if I was getting $675,000 a year and I was in the public eye, I'm sure there would be heaps of times where I make an absolute dick of myself, and so would you. And like when I was growing up in Ireland, when I was around 18 and I was earning €200 a week, and I'd go on a blowout every weekend, all the way from Friday through to Sunday. And that's with $200 a week. Like some of these guys playing football, they're only like 21 and they're getting hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And then they have the odd blowout and get in trouble and act a dickhead and take drugs. And then they get destroyed by the media for doing it. But you know what? They're humans like the rest of us. So I think we should like be a bit more patient, be a bit more compassionate, give them a break. I don't know if any of you are like me, but when you read a newspaper, you get to like the business section and you you change the way you sit when you're reading the business section. Like when I was reading, you know, like the jokes or like the star sign or whatever, I'm just kind of like sitting like that. Then I get to the business section, I'm like, like as if like that's going to help me understand it. Like okay, so we get to the all ordinaries. They're down 65.90. Like I have no idea what that means. Or like US cents is 70.92 Australian cents. It's down. No, it's up 1.94. Up 1.94. So it's up 1.94 against Australia, which means Australia is down. But if Australia is down, that's against America, which is up. So like if they're both moving all the time, where's the measurement coming from? Like where's the baseline for all the measurements? I don't understand it at all. But I sometimes feel like if I sit up a bit more straight like that, maybe even hold my coffee cup while I'm reading it, then I'll probably understand it a bit more. Maybe like put the chin out a little bit, look down. Nah, still doesn't work. So on page 57 here, we got an article about overworked doctors. Once again, the overworked frontline workers. So here we have, there's a doctor here. Her name is Corinne. So her shift at the BITS Medical Centre runs until 4:30 p.m. But when she sees anywhere between 30 and 40 patients a day, paperwork keeps her back until at least 6:30 p.m. Boo-hoo. Kind of sounds a bit similar to any other salesperson or office worker as well. If I bump into patients in town, they all think I'm on holidays because we're never available. Now, I'm going to skip a bit because it just goes blah blah blah. And the same doctor, Dr. Marias, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, I apologise. To handle the stress from her workload, Dr. Marias works 4 days a week. She says, I need that 3-day weekend just to recuperate, just for the next week. So she's overworked, and she works 4 days a week and has a 3-day weekend. Am I not wrong? Do those two things not contradict each other? Fuck these news stories, they'd say anything just to fucking try and fill in the gaps, wouldn't they? So there's an article here, page 59, about Kanye West running for the presidency in America, and I kind of feel sorry for Kanye sometimes. He gets an awful lot of shit. But to be honest, like, I think he'd probably make a good president, because he's been copping shit forever by millions and billions of people. And like, if you're to be successful as a president, you have to be able to cop a lot of shit and then stick to your guns. He's been copping shit forever. And yeah, he's got a massive ego. But you know what? We've all got massive egos, except his one is way more public than the rest of ours. And maybe his heart is equally as big as his ego. And like, do you not reckon you probably have to have a massive active ego to be able to become president, or to want to become president in the first place, to be in charge of 300 million people? But if his heart is as big as his ego, maybe they can play off each other, and maybe he could actually be a really good president. You know, maybe that's something, maybe that's food for thought. Maybe he'd be a great one. Like, he just shoots his mind and says things, gets himself in a lot of trouble. But he's obviously been very successful in his own business, what he's done. So I reckon we give him a shot at being president anyway. If nothing else, it'd be a bit entertaining anyway. Maybe he could even change the national anthem, make it a bit more fun. They're definitely creative little fuckers, you gotta give them that. So there's an article here about the US government. The headline is Next Virus Focus. And they're saying that, you know, the next thing they gotta focus on is making sure that another virus doesn't jump from animals to humans. So they gotta increase the amount of money they spend on military research and development ties. That's a really good way to say that we're going to secretly take billions and trillions of dollars and pump it into these secret military operations so that people can siphon it off into their little private families, isn't it? But we're doing it to help stop the next virus. So I'm reading this confidential section here in the Courier, and there's a picture of some people there. Let's have a look. You see that? They're at the races, they're having drinks, and he's got the beer. He's like this in the picture. Why do we always do that? Why do we always, when we're getting a photo taken and we have a drink in our hand, why do we always have to emphasize, like, I'm with the drink, that's my drink, I'm with it, look at the drink, it's mine, I'm having a drink. What's that all about? I don't know. Oh, on other news, Mel Gibson got the old Rona. Of course he's fine though. Now, what are we on? We're page 77. I've never really been much of a gambler. Like, every now and again, if I'm with other people, I might chuck $10 on a horse race or something. But I think I've just found the advertisement that's going to get me into betting, because I never even realised that this was a sport. But here on page 77, we've got snowboarding horses. I'm definitely going to put some money on that. I just don't know how they go with the old yeah. Like, I think it's bad because usually in horse racing they put the horses down when they break a leg, and now they have them snowboarding. Like, there's going to be a good chance they'll end up breaking legs, so I just feel bad for the horses in this sport. Just having a read here at page 83, there's a story about Sonny Bill Williams, the rugby player, coming back into play for the Sydney Roosters after playing for Toronto Wolfpack, I'm guessing in Canada, for rugby union. He signed a $10 million deal when he went to Toronto. Now, I don't know about, like, I'm not too sure about the whole thing of, coming back in afterlives and all those kind of things, but sometimes when I see someone like this, I think, you know what, maybe it is true that we do get born again and again and again, because, like, if it's true what some people believe, that, we start out and maybe we're not so conscious and aware, we might start out as a cockroach, and, after 1,000 lives, then we become a human and a more advanced human, and maybe karma gives us good things and that. I feel like Sonny Bill Williams, he'd be on like the millionth life. He's a good looking man, he's a professional rugby player, played in different countries, professional boxer, very successful man. I feel like he's had a lot of good karma coming to him. But there is one thing I'm seeing here now. It does look like Sonny Bill Williams has a ginger beard. Am I wrong? Or am I right? Sonny Bill Williams with the ginger beard. What's that all about? Anyway, legend. Absolute legend.